Turn up the volume. All right, so morning, Summer Wells. So this is going to be a Summer Wells discussion. Good morning. How is everyone doing? I am at the airport. I'm at the airport and I'm traveling. By the way, I'm traveling. So let's talk about Summer Wells. All right. So I was in Rogersville, Tennessee, Hawkins County, Sullivan County, the whole eastern uh, area of Tennessee for the last few days, looking for summer wells, bringing awareness to summer wells, uh, bringing attention to summer wells, fact finding, truth seeking, uh, doing a lot of work. And I do feel it was a successful trip, and I want to touch on some few things about what uh, our group did and what we accomplished. Thank you for jumping onto this channel, by the way. I just started this Summer Wells discussion type channel in the last month. So I've been following this case, trying to work hard to find out what happened to Summer Wells, trying to get all the facts and possible, and try to dig in as deep as I can, talk to like all the participants involved, doing everything I can to shed light on what happened. Clues. The trip that we just did in Tennessee, I feel it was a success. I will touch on a lot of things that we've done while we were there. It wasn't just a protest. It's not what I do protesting, but it's not just about protesting. It's a lot of stuff, you guys, behind the scenes that I'm doing in reference to talking to people and communicating, and there's a lot of gaslighting that gets involved in triggering people's emotions, for stuff to come out. So it was interesting. I'm on my way to Arizona, by the way. I'm going to a Trump rally. It's my new job assignment. So it's not just, missing people cases. I do a lot of things around the country. I'm on my way to Arizona. I'm going to a Trump rally. I will be front row at the Trump rally. Part of a group called the Front Row Joes. It will be my 40th Trump rally around the country. Any comment on the bones they found last night on Ben Hill Road? Not surprising if they did find bones on Ben Hill Road. It's a very remote road. It's off of Beach Creek. Ben Hill Road goes all the way back like a mile into, it's called the Holler, which is a side mountain. It's a side mountain there. So I didn't see that. I was traveling yesterday, so I didn't really catch up on the update of any Summer Wells news, though I will look into that and see. So there was a lot of things we done in Tennessee as a group when we were out there. I mean, one, went in front of TBI to protest, to let our presence known for these guys here. It was about these guys. TBI was about these guys. These two people here, Don Wells, Donald Wesley Wells, Candice Wells. It was about these people being held accountable for what they've done, not only to Summer, but to their 3 other boys, their children, their conduct. You can't dispute, their child neglect and their child abuse and child endangerment. I mean, even Summer Wells being missing, these people caused it. They caused it. I mean, Summer Wells and the boys up there at that mountain were subjected to just years and years of just child abuse and neglect. And I say this because, the 911 calls, we listen to the 911 calls that come into that house, the call logs, the, DCS taking the boys away, former friends of the Wells coming forward saying they've seen, Don and Candice Wells give alcohol to the children, hit their children, neglect their children, the house being filthy and disgusting. I mean, you have corroboration, and it was a good thing that DCS took those boys away and got them out of that dangerous situation, because it is a dangerous situation out there. It's very, very dangerous. But, Don Wells, 40 years of criminal conduct, 40 years of, felonies in multiple states, Arkansas, numerous crimes in Arkansas Don Wells has committed in the 90s, years back, but in the 90s, Don Wells, burglaries, forgeries, drug charges. Don Wells in the 80s, I guess his first wife, or his first, the one where he had his 2 children with, his other son and whatnot, he beat her, punched her in the face. He got arrested for it in Hillsborough County, Florida. So, Don Wells in Texas, Don Wells, numerous arrests with Don Wells in Harris County, Texas, which is the Houston area, and Dallas County, Texas. And we all know about the arrests of Don Wells in Utah. Don Wells was committed to the Utah Department of Corrections 5 times on 5 separate charges. So he went 5 separate times for charges, auto theft and more forgery and burglary. And every time he was committed into the Utah Department of Corrections, he made parole, but he violated parole. He would violate parole every single time. Out of those 5 cases that he was in Utah Department of Corrections, he violated parole all 5 times, and he had to go back and serve the remaining of his time. One of the times when he was on parole in the early 2000s, he absconded. He left the state and went back to his Ben Hill Road house in Hawkins County, Tennessee, and Hawkins County sheriffs and the FBI had to go find him and go to the house and get him and send Don Wells back to Utah. So this is just a continuous behavior. And now, and then the incidents in Tennessee, obviously we know about the domestic violence incident that happened a few years back with Candice and Jose Roman on the property. Don Wells, was drunk and came to the property with a gun. He claims it wasn't a real gun, but I don't know about that. But he did get a gun charge, domestic violence charge. Ultimately pled guilty to the domestic violence charge. Gun charge got dropped. Was placed on probation. While on probation last year, after Summer Wells went missing, Don Wells caught a DUI while on probation, got the probation violation, and now is going through that process. As far as Candice Wells, Candice Bly, she's originally from Wisconsin, Burnett County, Wisconsin, Grantsburg, Wisconsin area. She has numerous arrests too. I've found 6 mugshots of Candice Wells. I found 6 mugshots of Candice Wells. She did get arrested in the early 2000s for child abuse. She got arrested for child abuse. But also, which is interesting about Candice Bly, is she got arrested for child abuse and drug charges. She also caught another charge for pointing a gun at CPS. Pointing a gun at CPS, coming to her about her children. And that's crazy. She had 2 children up there with another man, Andy Simon. Andy Simon was over twice her age. So she's in her early 20s. Andy Simon, the one she had 2 children with, one child named Andy, named after the father, and another child named Candice, named after her. So she had 2 children from this man who was twice her age. Those 2 had constant domestic violence issues and drugs, and Candice Bly got arrested numerous times for domestic violence charges and disorderly conduct, but she got arrested one time for pointing a gun at a CPS worker that was coming to her house to check on her children. That's crazy. That is crazy. That is the truth. You can look it up. The court records are out there. She's pointing a gun at CPS while she's in Wisconsin. Ultimately, the children get taken out of their custody and then put into adoption process and whatnot, and they go on. It's shameful. It's sad, being up in Tennessee, we think we found a lot, right? So we kind of I'm gonna tell you like this, right? So my opinion about this case is, I think a very, very bad accident happened. I think an accident happened with Summer. I do not think that something was purposely done to Summer Wells, as far as like Candice Wells plotting to kill her. But we do, based on talking to people and their theories close to the Wells, have told us, Don had a very close relationship with Summer. Don apparently loved Summer, would sleep in the same bed as Summer, showered with Summer. I mean, Don Wells really loved Summer. That's what we're hearing. The theory is, some people are speculating that, is Don loved Summer so much that Candice was jealous. Candice was jealous and maybe did something bad to Summer because of Don loving Summer so much and not giving Candice that type of attention. We hear that theory. I don't know if I buy that, but it is out there, and it's out there from people very close to the Wells, former friends who come up with that. I think, just Candice, she does a lot of drugs and drinking. I just think that somehow around that time on the 15th, she neglected or turned her back on Summer, and Summer got into some sort of accident, right? Some sort of accident. An accident, I'm meaning either at the swimming hole, where maybe she did an accidental drowning and got hurt later, or, going back to that house on Ben Hill and maybe Summer taking some candy that she thought was, candy or medication that she thought was candy from the grandmother, or Summer going inside that house and falling down those steps, because we've seen the videos of what it looks like inside the Wells house, inside the kitchen. There's like a cubby hole there, and you go down the steps into the basement. Maybe Summer fell down, right, and got hurt. And I really believe that, I believe that's the theory that happened. My heart feels that Summer got hurt, under the supervision of Candice, who wasn't paying attention, right? Candice is supposed to take care of her daughter. Somehow she turned her back for whatever reasons. She was preoccupied on drugs, too busy with Hunter at the swimming hole, something bad happened to Candice, or something bad happened to Summer. So, Candice panics. Candice panics, right? So Candice panics, calls Don Wells, and this is where I feel Don Wells is involved. Don Wells is protecting Candice, right? Don Wells is protecting Candice, and then they, work together and collude together and put Summer somewhere. They bury her. They bury her off the property, back in the holler, somewhere close to the home. And then I do believe at a future date, maybe a couple days later, Don Wells goes back to where Summer Wells is, gets her body, and takes her somewhere else. That's what I believe happened. I do not believe a kidnapping occurred on that property. I mean, I was there. I was at that property. I seen it, and it's just, to me, it's impossible to think that someone was prowling around there and waiting for the opportunity to take Summer. I mean, TBI and Hawkins County Sheriff said zero evidence of any kidnapping. But these two people, they stick to the story. They stick to the story that they were so adamant about a kidnapping that occurred on that property. And I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it, and I got to see these people. I got to see these people eye to eye. I was within a foot of Don Wells, looking at him in the eye, asking him, what happened to Summer? Where is Summer? And he just kept telling me to get away from him, and he would not make eye contact with me. I made eye contact with him, but he didn't look at me. He just kept turning his head, and he was like he was trying to hide something. When you're talking to somebody and they turn their head and they don't want to look at you in the eye, that's how it was. And Candice was interesting because, yeah, our crew went outside the job site of where Don and Candice Wells were at. We did not know that Candice was going to be there. We were looking for Don at his job site, but coincidentally, Candice was there with him working. She had paint and and all kinds of what's that, drywall stuff all over her clothes and all over her hat. She was wearing that Phillips 66 hat. But Candice wouldn't even look at us either. Candice would just stare at her phone. She would just stare at her phone the whole time. When she walks, she was just staring at her phone. She would not look up. Like, she just stares at her phone. And that's kind of like a distraction. But I do feel that Don is protecting Candice. But I do think that Don took it too far, where Don helped, after the fact. Accessory after the fact. Concealing, hiding Summer somewhere. Hiding somewhere. I mean, that's it. I mean, no kidnapping. Definitely Summer did not wander off. That's just, it makes no sense. I mean, the property is along a very busy road, 347 Beach Creek Road. Ben Hill does turn in. I can't see somebody sitting on that street there on Ben Hill, and going up the hill to snatch Summer and then bring her back down into the car and then ride off. There's many dogs around there. We know that the Wells have many, many dogs. At the time when Summer was there was lots of dogs on there. We're hearing up to 20 dogs that were on that property. Down there at the corner of Ben Hill and Beach Creek, the neighbors there have dogs too. And what I've noticed is every time I went to the house, when you turn onto that road, the dogs start barking loud. They start barking loud at cars. So I just can't see how a car could just sit around that corner there and just park and just plot and wait for Summer Wells. It just makes no sense. And I'm going to tell you, we spoke to neighbors of Don Wells. Neighbors, I guess their last name is Overbees, Lonnie or Donnie Overby, the house behind Don Wells with all the junk cars. We were driving up one day and we were just, scanning out the area, looking around Ben Hill in our car, and we drove up. The road is called Simpson. So it goes, you turn to Beach Creek, you turn to Ben Hill, you go around the corner, there's Don Wells' house, go up the hill. Keep going on the left, go up the house there on the top of the hill. Directly across from the Wells is Andy, Jody Sue's ex-husband. He lives there. You go down a little bit, and then Ben Hill, you either can make a right onto Simpson, or you go down, continue to go down Ben Hill, and it goes back maybe like a mile, and there's some houses in between there. But if you turn onto Simpson, the first house there is a trailer, and there are multiple vehicles there. So we stopped there. We stopped there one day, and we wanted to actually talk to the homeowner there. We got out of our cars. Homeowner lady was out there, and she started, screaming, "Get off the property! Get out of here! I'm gonna call the law and everything like that." And I'm like, "Cool, no problem, because we don't want problems. If nobody wants to talk, we're not gonna bother anybody that doesn't want to talk. But it doesn't hurt to ask, right? It doesn't hurt to ask, and it's not against the law to ask. You just can't assume that nobody wants to talk until they tell you they don't want to talk, right? And I think it's just important for me to find insight of everyone possible in this case, like neighbors, coworkers, everything. Just talk, because somebody could reveal a clue. So we tried to talk to the neighbor there. She didn't want to talk. She said she was going to call the law. So we left, right? We left. Next day, we were back out in front of the Wells. Our group was on bullhorns, yelling at Don and Candice Wells. And that neighbor's home, I guess they're the Overbees. I guess his name is Donnie or Lonnie. He rolls up on his car, gets out, says, "Y'all need to get out of here. Need to get out of here." He didn't know what to expect. So he was a little bit hostile at first. And then I kind of went over to him and said, "Hey, calm down. Everything's cool. We're in peace. We're just trying to find Summer," whatever like that. And then he kind of went at ease. I even extended out my hand, said, "How are you?" Shook his hand. And then we talked, He didn't want us there because he didn't want all the hostility in his neighborhood and everything like that. And we did respect it, and we did end up leaving. But we talked to him, and he does not get along. They hate. This neighbor behind the Wells hates the Wells. He hates them. He said it. He says, no way there was a kidnapping. He knows that Don and Candice Wells are involved. You guys heard the tapes. My other people that were with me, they released the tapes. I'll release the tape soon. Um, he was talking about Fred Hill. Fred Hill is another neighbor on Ben Hill. Don Wells has been pointing the finger to. We've heard the videos. Don Wells said it to us in a discussion that, you know, Don was saying check Fred Hill. Fred Hill is the meth guy, and he has meth guys there. So, that got back to Fred Hill, and Fred Hill actually, confronted Don Wells, according to this neighbor, and said, "Do not put my name out of your mouth. I'll kill you." So, Fred Hill was not happy with Don Wells. The neighbor also told me that Andy across the street, Jody Sue's ex-husband, hates Don Wells too. So, all the neighbors do not like Don Wells. Also, while I was out there, another neighbor, a female, and I'll post the video. She did not identify herself, but she lives on Ben Hill. I was on Ben Hill Road. She pulled up. She was trying to pass because it's a very narrow road. And we stopped, and I had my recorder out, and she talked. And she didn't want to say anything bad about the Wells on camera, but she didn't say they were good people. And she did say, she pretty much said, I have to live here, so I don't want to talk about them. She has to live here. And I understand what she's saying as a female, whatever. But she said, how are you? Thank you for out here caring for Summer. She did say that the TBI and Hawkins County Sheriffs did search her property. And here's another thing, too, is that neighbor that we spoke to in back of Don Wells' home, next to his home, he also said that TBI searched his property, too. All his cars. It looks like a junk graveyard of cars at his house there. So, but he was cool, he said he got guns on him. He said he was a former law enforcement. He said TBI and Ronnie Lawson, the sheriff, are working very hard on tips and leads to end this, and bring closure. He wants it to end too. The neighbor wants it to end too. No sympathy whatsoever towards these individuals. Sorry, it's the airport I'm at. I'm on my way to Arizona. But yeah, so, being in front of the Wells house, seeing the Wells house, seeing the trash all over the property, just seeing the conditions of the area, I just challenge everyone, if you're invested in this case, you've got to just get out and you got to check it out yourself, just to see for yourself. It puts it in a different perspective, because that was my second trip up to the Wells house, and I went in there originally with an open mind, thinking maybe Don Wells and Candice are innocent, or maybe they aren't involved and are a victim of the kidnapping. But it slowly deteriorated quickly, just based off their behaviors, them standing us up, talking to former friends, the neighbors, co-workers, everybody. So it came to that conclusion. But going back to what, this trip, it was very successful. Went to the district attorney's office. I went in and I talked to District Attorney Amy Hinkle. She is the Hawkins County District Attorney. Went right to her office, our crew. Went in, talked to the secretary, said, want to talk to the prosecutor handling Don Wells's DUI and probation violation case, and if any prosecutor has oversight of the Summer Wells investigation. And the secretary got the district attorney. The district attorney called us into her office, and we went and spoke to Amy Hinkle for over an hour in her office. Chairs and tables. There was a group of us, and we laid down the facts. We laid down our opinion. We let her know, stuff that maybe they don't know, or maybe they already knew. But we just presented our feelings towards Don and Candice Wells, everything that we uncovered, the constant criminal conduct of Don and Candice Wells, and our concern for Summer, and our concern for the 3 boys that were on that property. And I'll tell you what, the district attorney, Amy Hinkle, stressed to us that TBI and Hawkins County Sheriff are working so hard to try to solve this case. I mean, they are working around the clock. The Amber Alert is still on. They haven't given up on Summer, and Amy Hinkle told us, each of the officers that are investigating this case that spoke to her, they have children themselves, and they're invested into solving this crime. They're not giving up. And I believed her. I really, really believed her. She said she's going to do everything in her power to, but she has to be impartial at this situation in this time, because, they're a prosecutor office, because they're going to be taking the case if it ever comes to them. But she was just talking about the process with, Don Wells' DUI, his criminal history. I can tell you this: when Don Wells, people were asking, how did Don Wells get bond or bail when he caught the DUI while he was on probation? So Amy Hinkle said at the time, Don Wells had to go in front of the judge on the arraignment on the DUI charge and the probation violation. It was a fill-in judge. It was a fill-in judge because it's a session court. Therefore, the judge didn't know the facts behind it. Therefore, just let him out. If it was the regular judge who handles Don Wells' case from the domestic violence incident, Don Wells could have just remained in jail. But he lucked out. Let me put it that way. He lucked out. So he goes through that process soon. Prosecutor is on it. Prosecutor gave us her email, and anything and any information that we know on Don and Candice Wells, we are to give it to her. But she, we just talked, and I don't want to reveal everything. But it was a good conversation. She took us serious. She answered all the questions. It was it was good, and we really, really, really appreciate that. It really changed my mind, because at first I was thinking, oh man, Hawkins County Sheriff's TBI, they're not doing anything. Why aren't they doing anything? But I understand there's a process. There's a process. I was wondering, how come you can't get Don Wells or Candice on child abuse charges? Because you got Hunter coming forward saying that Candice gave alcohol to him. Why can't you get him on something? Abandonment charges, child abuse. It takes time, and justice doesn't always come quickly. Have faith. Have faith, people. Have faith. So we also went to Don Wells' probation officer. His name was Danny Henry. Don Wells is on probation right now in Hawkins County, Tennessee, for the DUI or for the domestic violence incident that happened. Danny Henry, who works for a company called Alternative Judicial Services, is a subcontracting company in Tennessee for misdemeanor cases. So Don Wells is on misdemeanor probation, but his probation officer was totally nice. Came out, shook hands with us, and talked to us. And he knew we were recording him because we had the camera and I had a press shirt, and he was just talking about the conditions of probation, everything like that. Gave us his email. He is concerned about the associates of Don Wells. The probation officer said, he can't be hanging around with known felons at his home. Conditions are no excessive drinking. There is conditions that he has to follow, and it's concerning what the probation officer has been seeing Don Wells. The behaviors that Don Wells has been doing when he's been going on these podcasts, yelling back and forth with Candice, shouting, things like that. That is concerning to the probation officer, and he is aware. And I don't know if he's trying to violate him, but it will be brought to the judge, all his behaviors, along with that violation of getting arrested while on probation. So most likely he will either, he could do up to a year in jail. I don't know if he's going to get that. And we're not there trying to violate Don Wells. We were there just to open up dialogue with this probation officer and feel him out, and maybe we were trying to gain insight and dialogue. And, maybe the probation officer was thinking that he would reveal some clues about Don Wells or clues about the Summer Wells case. Sometimes talking to these people, like the Hawkins County District Attorney's Office and the probation officer, people slip, man. Everyone's human, and people slip, and they might reveal things and, or feel a direction that they're going. People reveal clues, and so those two conversations and visits were very productive. I think they were very productive. TBI protest and DCS protest. Yes, our group protested in front of DCS in Rogersville, Tennessee. The DCS office is in a shopping plaza in the back. So what we do when we do our protesting is we contact law enforcement beforehand, and let them know that we're going to be there to protest. We want to make it organized. We want to make it professional. We want to be transparent with law enforcement of what we're doing. Because if sometimes when we go there on the surprise, the law enforcement gets calls saying people are out there with signs, whatever like that, they might come up guns blazing or, ready for something. We want to let them know that we're there beforehand, so everything is organized. So we did let law enforcement, state troopers, Hawkins County sheriffs know that we were going to be in front of DCS, particular day and time. We went. We were going to protest. We were going to protest outside their front door. There was already a state trooper there waiting for us and let us know, you guys can be here, but, it's not really effective here because it's in the back of a shopping center. He said, why don't you guys go out to the front road there, the front road of the shopping center, where it's a very busy road and everyone's coming in and out. He said, therefore, you'll get maximum exposure. So he's actually giving us advice. He said he had children. He said, just do one thing. Do not heckle or harass anyone that comes in and out of this building. And that's not what we do. So we stood in front of the road there in front of DCS, and we do feel it was very effective because eyeballs, right? Eyeballs. We're holding up big signs, where's Summer Wells? Lock Don and Candice up, lock them up. We're holding up these signs, lock them up. And, people see, it's a small community, cars are honking. They see. Because, we just want the whole community to know how we feel based off what, we found out about, the mistreatment of the boys, the whole backstory that, we don't want those 3 children, the 3 boys taken away from them, ever to return to the Wells house again. No way. I mean, come on, people. There's no way, based off the patterns and behaviors of Don and Candice Wells. You guys seen it all. There's no way the boys can go back to that home. There's just no way. And that's what we were doing in front of DCS. We're letting them know, please, do not send those boys back to the Wells compound. I mean, they're unfit parents, and considering that Summer Wells is still missing, those children there are not safe. No child is safe on the compound, whatever like that. So it was effective. We were out there about an hour or two, sharing signs, waving signs, going on the bullhorn. We felt it worked, and hopefully DCS, since they knew we were there, actually the officer gave us the communication director's email and contact, who we're going to contact and talk to the DCS. Just want to bring them aware about, the Wells behavior, because, not all agencies know about. Sometimes agencies don't know all the facts about an individual, like Don, for instance, Don Wells, he's been arrested in multiple states, right? This agency might not be aware of that, and that is relevant. It is very relevant. It's very irrelevant if Candice Bly, pointed a gun at CPS in Wisconsin in the early 2000s that were coming to check on her 2 children, Andy and Candice Jr. That is irrelevant. That's relevant. It's relevant that Candice Wells has child abuse charges from Wisconsin. I mean, I don't know if CPS knows or not, because different states, different databases, they might have slipped through the cracks, right? So we're just bringing awareness to that. So while we were out in Tennessee, we also, we went to a lot of places. I went to the Kingsport Church, Seventh-day Adventist Church. Went in there to try to talk to, people in the church that are closest to the Wells. I know that Don and Candice Wells went to that church. I just wanted to hear them out, hear what the teachings are of that church. I was just curious. So there, I'll explain that and post some videos about all that later on. I'll post videos about what transpired there. It was very bizarre and cult-like, I will say. Went to 3 churches on Beach Creek, right by the Wells house. The Baptist Missionary Church, Mount Carmel Baptist Missionary Church, the Solomon Temple Church, which is about a mile from Don and Candice Wells. We actually delivered food to them. And I can tell you that Don Wells was seen in the church there, the Solomon Temple Church, just 2 weeks ago. We talked to the preacher there, the pastor, who said that Don Wells was there. But you know what was interesting? 2 weeks ago, Don Wells was there, but Candice was not there. Candice was not there. It was only Don. Don was the only one by himself inside this church praying. So it was interesting. So I'll post videos on that too. Post videos with the church people, talk to the church community. So we also, along Beach Creek is probably like a whole, maybe like 10 miles, right? Long, lots of abandoned sheds, homes, shacks, trailers, barns. I mean, we searched all of them. We searched all of them for Summer Wells. We went in there and looked, made videos documenting what we could do to inspire other people to go out there and look. Because remember, Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, he came forward and told all the residents out there to check your barns, check your sheds, and stuff like that. So we were doing the same thing. You never know. You never know. Summer could have been dumped into a barn, abandoned shed, anywhere. So we did all the searches there. Made lots of videos there. I'll post them later. Kingsport Church went to. So we all know about Tim Mullen. Tim Mullen is the Wells media manager. Tim Mullen. Went to Tim Mullen's house. I've been having communication with Tim Mullen, Wells media manager, via Facebook Messenger, and he's been responding to me. And I kept asking him, I would love to meet you, Mr. Mullen. I want to know, why you are doing this for the Wells. What's your position here? What's your role here in being the Wells media manager? We want to give you information about Summer Wells that we've uncovered that might be relevant, might not, but we just want to meet you in person. He would refuse to meet. He would find every excuse possible not to meet us, and we want to meet him in peace. And we could say off the record, I said off the record, on the record, however you want. We don't have to record you. If these people don't want us to record them, we won't record them. If they want to say off the record, we'll go off the record. But Wells media manager kept spinning me. At first he would say, yeah, I'll meet you at Bays Mountain, or we'll find a time and meet. And then when I say, hey, let's meet, he doesn't respond. I say, I want to meet. So finally, we just went to his house. We went to Tim Mullen's house. He lives with his mom, Joy. His mom's name's Joy. I think she's in her 70s or 80s. Went to his house. There was a red pickup truck in his driveway. Went to his house. He wasn't there. He does live there. He knows that we went there. He didn't tell us not to go there after I told him we were going to come back and look for him. Want to speak to Tim Mullen. So Tim Mullen, or anyone that knows Tim Mullen, just like to speak to you in person. Peaceful. Let's open up dialogue. Let's work together. To find Summer Wells. He runs the findsummerwells.com website. So, also went to Robin Lane's house. So we went to Robin Lane's house, and Robin Lane, as we know, has taken a position to support the Wells. Church woman went to her house to go talk to her. She didn't answer the door. So we went there too. Went to David Dotson's house. Now, David Dotson's an interesting individual. David Dotson, as you guys know that have been following the case, Dotson was seen, after Summer Wells went missing, taking the boys out and hanging out with the three boys and keeping them company and whatnot. Interesting, because we went to David Dotson's house and I spoke to his daughter, Hannah. He has a daughter named Hannah. And David Dotson doesn't live there anymore, but Hannah told us he is no longer a part of that church and he's no longer supporting the Wells. I know a lot of conspiracy theorists out there were saying, hey, David Dotson could be involved. I think he disavowed the Wells, and he just doesn't want to get involved. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He's not supporting the Wells. This is according to the daughter. So, got that all on video. She gave me an interview. I'll post that later too. To David Dotson. But, for everyone out there that still thinks David Dotson had something to do with it, don't go after David Dotson. It'd be good to hear him out and hear why he took a position of supporting the Wells originally, but I think he came to his senses. And I can tell you that David Dotson's daughter, Hannah, does not believe that there was a kidnapping either. Does not. And she knows and said it on the record that, Don and Candice Wells are involved, So everyone went to the hippie house, went to the Catch-22 in hippie house. We were hearing that they were in either or. Went in there inside the hippie house. They actually have a picture of this inside the hippie house. Inside, hippie house, as you guys know, is a cannabis product type store. A lot of vapes and bongs and bowls and hippie culture. Same thing with Catch-22. Now Catch-22, I went in there and they'd never seen Candice Wells in there before. The employees, they were there. They didn't know anything about Candice Wells ever being in that store, because we've heard the Hunter videos. The Hunter said they went to Catch-22. I don't think they went to Catch-22. Went in there, went back to the swimming hole, went back to the horse stables. The horse stables are right by the swimming hole. Tried to talk to the owners there to see if they seen anything or heard anything. What else we did? Just a lot of digging and searching and protesting. I'll touch on another video about the protest in front of Don Wells and tell you what went down there. It was interesting. I was there covering it as a journalist, covering what went on. Very, very dramatic and fiery, and it was interesting. It was interesting seeing Don and Candice Wells for the first time and seeing them face to face. So I'll touch on that later. Yeah. So justice for Summer Wells. I'm not going to bore you much longer. My team that I'm working with, we are communicating with Don. So we are in communication with Don Wells. Dialogue is always good. We've always said we'll let our personal feelings aside if, Don and Candice are willing to work with us so we can find out what happened to Summer. Work with us, because it is about finding Summer. I really want to find Summer and end this, right? It really, gets under my skin, and it really, I take this personal. This is not a joke, right? I don't travel 1,000 miles to go up there and just for just clicks or giggles or laughs. And hopefully you guys see, the videos that I'm posting and see that I'm dead serious about this and finding out what happened. I'm really digging in and really trying to find the right people to talk to and try to get answers and insights. I really want to help any way I can to find answers on what happened, and assist law enforcement. I have dialogue with the Hawkins County Sheriffs, the TBI. I have dialogue with all of them. And, I'm just trying to do everything in my power to use the tools that God blessed me with to help any way I can, to solve this, or to, keep bringing awareness so the case doesn't go cold, or just to, shine light. I'll be honest, man. I'm not supporting these two people. There's no way. There's no way. They're not victims, and I'm not. I'm gonna stick to that. I'm sorry, people. I've done my own digging. I came to my own conclusion. These people are not good people. Trust me, they're not good people. Just the horror stories. If a victim told you, if a child told you that an adult gave them alcohol, would you believe the child? We're hearing numerous instances of just abuse, the boys getting burnt, third-degree burns on them and not going to the hospital, falling off the dirt bikes and not going to the hospital, and Candice not going to the hospital. Candice just staying indoors doing drugs while the kids are running outside loose around their property, and these are young children. These are children at the time below 10 years old, man, on property. It's not right, man. It's not right. And Don Wells is protecting her. He's protecting her. And I think that he used his criminal thinking errors, and then helped her do something with Summer. And now they're both stuck. They're stuck in a situation. They're
For
sticking to their
to
stories.
Detroit, fly 1150. Thank you for your patience. At this time, we want to start doing
So,
pre-boarding. Pre-boarding is only for wheelchairs.
That's what's going on. So God bless. Stay safe, everyone. I got to get out of here. Justice for Summer Wells. I'll come back on soon. Be safe, everyone. I'm going to Arizona. I will post videos later on what I've uncovered and everything like that, you know. And
My Spirit Free Gold members,
stay safe, everyone. God bless. I got a board. See you later.
Start with zone number 1 for Detroit.
Thank you everyone for the support. Working very hard, trying to be serious about
Once
this.
Again, free Gold Spirit members.
You know, I do work as a team, and every team has their own methods of way they do things and how they're you know, how they do things. I do things my own way. Try to share with you as much as I can on this case. I am paying attention. I do watch all you guys' channels out there. I do watch, you know, the other content creators that are talking about this case. I do watch, and I try to put the pieces together, and I try to pick up on things that, you know, that could help, and then I share or I dig in myself. So, justice for Summer's coming, man. Justice for Summer's coming, and all right, guys, it's coming. All 3 passed their polygraphs.
Continue with my free,
the polygraphs, I'll get into that another time too. So the polygraphs is interesting because at the time Candice did take a polygraph, but she was under the influence, so she had to take it again. And then the second time that she took it, she actually passed. But you know, that could be it's complicated, but it's very complicated. So God bless. Take care.
Once again, we in zone number 2 here on your left side. We appreciate it. Thank you.